everybody!
Hi!
Welcome back to another episode of SCNS Live. Sorry, tonight we're going to be talking about some good horror sequels, some bad horror sequels. Are they good? Are they bad? We will be discussing that. But first, I think you need to know who we are. You should know who we are, but just in case you're bad with names like I am, my name is Cora. I'm the producer here. And to my right...
I do the same thing. My name is Nir, and I don't want to do this segment. I want to go home.
It'll be fine.
I will cry.
It'll be fine. And who are you, lovely lady?
I'm Kat, and my whole goal is to make Nir cry.
Oh,
that won't
excellent.
take long.
Excellent. And
fun.
It looks like we have a guest tonight.
Okay.
Introduce yourself, special guest.
Hello. I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you. I'm here because we're talking about spooky things, and I like spooky movies and getting the spooky movie mood.
Well, you've come to the right place. And as you can see, I'm not behind the board this time, turning knobs and making things work. No. That job this week goes to Jason the X.
So the main thing is you want to make sure the booze gets
Oh, I was
in
not
the
ready
cup.
for this.
Yeah.
Hey,
It
no,
is going-
Oh, Jason.
What? Oh,
That is... What are you... No.
Are you sharing?
oh, I'm sorry. Hey.
That's not,
Can we fire him and keep using
We're-
the
we're-
studio?
that
Unfortunately,
it was
no.
apple juice.
Ah.
It's from my digestive.
You're not going to share?
My apple juice? No.
Sneaky.
I brought
You don't
you
want-
presents.
You don't want to share antioxidants with us. I see how it is.
Anyway, hey, y'all talk about stuff. So the alcohol has to go right in.
Okay,
I don't think I'm prepared for this.
She's learning from the best.
No, that's not true.
And as you can see, we have Cass shadowing Jason tonight. Ooh.
It's the spookiest part of all.
Thank you.
She is kind of pale.
Oh, no.
I do look like a vampire on this camera. It's not a good
Yeah,
The
shot.
white
It's not,
background
a,
is not
it's not a nice shot of me.
I'll teach you how to do green screen next week.
Oh,
Whatever
okay.
you want.
Oh, thank
Oh, you need to teach me
You're gonna
that.
teach
You
us
didn't.
how to do
Yeah,
green
you didn't teach
screen?
me.
Yeah, Jason's going to
On
teach me
X-Split.
everything about editing and
No,
green screen.
I did.
Yeah.
I said XSplit. What?
He
Come
taught
on.
me day one. It's all right.
I mean, I saw your old format.
Get him.
Worst part about being on this side is I can't run away from the fights.
The table is tall if you could duck.
So then you shove the cloth in the bottle.
That's
and light
not
it
what
on
I thought
fire.
you were going to say.
Make sure to throw it
no.
hard.
Stuff the thing and the other thing, then you're done.
Yeah, we're talking about horror movies.
Yay!
Horror.
At any rate, before we can start talking about horror movies, first, we have some news for you. So let's kick off the show with some super cool nerd news. All right, so first in the news this week, we have some exciting sports news for everyone today. After 22 years of hard work
No
and
more
dedication, no.
Oh.
The the Pokemon trainer known as Ash Ketchum has finally won the Pokemon League. He's finally won his first trophy in the league in the Alola region. I think I speak for everyone when I say congratulations to Ash Ketchum. It is something that is far and more well deserved.
How many years in the making, would you say?
22 years.
22.
I'm so proud.
Cool.
I will say that I have enjoyed that he hasn't always come out on top with this. They had been using that as a way to show, kids that you don't always win and how to take
Right.
loss. But
Gracefully?
yes, no, hopefully gracefully. I haven't watched the show in a very long time, so I don't know how well
He
it's
turned
gone.
into a brat in later years.
I don't know how
Big
well it
screaming.
went
It's a
after
brat in the beginning.
Kanto, so
Hey, how many years did it take Red to do it?
we ain't talking about Red. We talking about Ash.
Ooh, I love that southern twang.
Granted,
comes
he
out.
did have his own
Thank
show
you.
that lasted 4 episodes, and it didn't take him long there either.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
honestly, I've been preparing a long time for this, so I can say, man, I'm the best Pokemon trainer ever, and I've been trying so hard, and thank God I finally got the medals I deserve. Yeah.
What about
This one's a
Rocket League?
Pikachu.
What about the Rocket League? What?
No,
what is
Rocket
it?
League?
It's Team
What?
Rocket.
That one.
I was about to say Rocket League. Now we're
Did
Did
talking.
they ever win Pokemon?
I'm really surprised they
No.
still chase after him though.
If by win you mean steal, sometimes.
Sometimes, but then they're always thwarted by Ash.
Or Mew.
Blast it off again.
I'm just very
Yep.
happy that he finally won one. I
Yeah.
stopped watching so long ago, but they also had to pick the region that technically, just playing the game, there was no Pokemon League in that game. They just
Yeah.
made it, so he is the first winner.
It's kind of like winning on ESPN's The Ocho.
Oh.
If he can win another one, then I'll truly accept it.
But you know what? He still has made Pokemon history in the world of Pokemon by being the first to win the Alola League.
Oh,
So there is still that.
that's special.
It is, and it's well deserved. Anyways, moving right along. Nier, what do you have for us this week?
Man, I don't know if you have this marked on your calendar or not, but at 3 a.m. very shortly, we're going to start raiding Area 51.
Oh my god.
Cardo and I have already started looking for an RV. We'll all pack up. We'll go immediately after. We got this. That being said, there have been a few people that have been impatient for the Area 51 raid
Oh my
and have already tried to start, and we've already had 2 people arrested by trying to raid Area 51. I believe the 20-year-old Ty's Grazer and 21-year-old Govert Charles Wilhelm Jacob Sweep.
What a
Jesus,
name.
what
Jeez.
a name.
Say
That
that
is
again
his-
3
That's-
That
times.
is his
That's-
full name.
That is all
Wow.
one person.
Yes.
Okay.
They were arrested in Nevada. They pleaded guilty for trespassing. They've both been released from jail, and they apparently came from the Netherlands.
What?
They traveled from the
so
Netherlands
they're from out of country?
to Nevada. However, they have been sentenced. It does look like they will be going to jail for 10 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Do not mess with the
What?
military. Straight up. They will catch you and they will put you
They
behind
can't
bars.
stop us all.
So what I'm hearing
They got a lot of bullets.
Yes.
So what I'm
Don't.
hearing is like people who think it's funny to do it for the meme. Don't. You'll be in jail for the next 10 years for trespassing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not 10. I think it changed. It's now 1 year. They still have to spend 1 year.
Still.
1 year in
Still.
county jail for trying to
And they'll
trespass on Area
probably get
51.
kicked out, and then they'll never be able to come back to the United States.
Probably.
Yeah, because that's a big infraction.
Aw.
My favorite tagline from the
Yeah.
story, though, is they'll have to enjoy the Area 51 festival music from at least 500 feet away. So yeah, don't go raiding Area 51.
I think Blink 182 already verified there's spaceships out there. So
They did,
Yeah,
and
they
the
did.
Navy's not happy about
So
it.
did the government. I think the tagline was that, yeah, UFOs exist. That doesn't mean it's aliens, though.
I regret what y'all are going to find one day. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Don't open the closet.
Oh, I know it's in the closet. There's just more toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
The reason
Tune
you
in
don't
Saturday.
open it is because it does a cartoony spill out. on you.
Exactly.
There is a bowling ball in there.
I've made this joke multiple
let's not
times
do
with
that,
Jason
guys.
on both alternate heads in here and outside, where I've talked about how he doesn't have enough room for Transformers, and then I actually opened up the closet. There were like 5 more Transformers in there.
Why did you open that door? I can't get it closed now.
Wasn't that door? Was the one behind you? That's also closed.
Oh, well, that one's manageable.
Yeah.
moving right along. Kat, what you got for
He
us?
has a problem.
He does.
Anyway,
Jason, I got you.
so I'm tempted to do this whole story in my Ash Ketchum voice because
I met her. She's so sweet.
I did the voice for one shot and it was hell on my throat towards the end. Anyway, I'm not going to. He was very eager and he was like, "Hey, you guys, I'm here to be the best adventurer you've ever seen." You have to drag out the last part of your words like that. Anyway, so everybody loves Devil Wears Prada, right?
Yeah.
It's good. Never seen it.
I like
It is $5 on iTunes right now, though.
It's so good.
HBO?
It's going to be a musical.
Yay!
Oh.
Really?
They're making a musical. It is going to debut next summer in Chicago. which is where they put things to find out if they're successful enough to go to Broadway. Usually, so far, they haven't like said that there's plans to try to take it to Broadway. It debuts next summer off the novel by Lauren Weisberger. Sir Elton John is writing the music.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that bodes well.
Lyrics
My wife will be
from
very excited.
singer-songwriter Shayna Taub. Anna Shapiro is directing the movie. I know her,
You mean
but
the
I don't know
play?
it from. Yes, the musical. And the book is from Paul Rudnick. He's done a lot of movies and plays. Like, notably, he did both the Sister Act movies. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's really fun.
he's doing the book, and there's no comment on the move to Broadway, but I'm really excited. I liked the Mean Girls musical. I like when they take poppy
You mean
things
Double
and
Ocean
move them
Broadway?
over.
Oh, no, you're talking about
No, I
like.
liked
Previous
the Mean
Mean
Girls one.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, like just
I
it's
watched
fun.
the Waitress musical recently, though.
Oh. But like they're good musicals too, and like
Don't tell my wife that.
no, I'm not a huge fan of that one, but almost any musical is good to watch, and it will be out next summer. Hooray! I wanna see it.
Anna Shapiro is a Tony Award winner for Best Direction of a Play for August Osage County, which, everyone was going nuts about it like 8 years ago on Broadway. It's the one that they did a movie with like everybody. It had like Chris Cooper and Benedict Cumberbatch and Meryl Streep and a bunch of other people, but she won a Tony for direction of the play.
It sounds
She's
like
also
a
done
Tennessee
some musicals.
Williams.
It
Garbage.
was some Tennessee Williams nonsense, yeah. But
Yeah.
she did a good job directing, so
Maybe this one will still have the happy-ish ending.
yeah.
Screw you, Tennessee Williams. You always were garbage. That's all. That's all I got.
Oh, I had a story, but it was about Tom DeLonge and UFOs, but I guess that already got covered a little bit.
Oh no, I'm
So-
sorry.
That's all right. Hey, listen, this thing was so cool, I can still talk about it. Like, you're talking about a couple of videos that got released by the old lead singer of Blink-182, that the United States government, the Pentagon, actually said, yeah, no, they're real things. I mean, we're not going to say that they're aliens, but, it's like, if you watch it, they're pretty freaking cool videos. Like, you get to see, like, they're having problems keeping up with these targets on the radar system. The things are doing, like, flips and, sharp turns and stuff. It's insane. And, like, I was really big into the X-Files when I was a kid, and I kind of saw something when I was about 11 years old. Won't get too into it because it's not really believable unless you actually see it. But I love UFOs. I love conspiracy stuff, and that just sort of, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I got to talk about that to people.
So the real question is like, how did he get this footage? Like, was this footage he took?
Well,
or...
he has a whole organization now that's based on trying to dig up, and he's got in contact with actual like military people or ex-military people who are willing to help him and other people. Somehow, I don't know exactly how he got it out because I don't know the exact details of it, but they weren't very, like you said, they weren't very excited that this got released to the public. So
You just needed to begin with. The longer you hide things, the harder it is for the public to accept things.
they could have sat there and denied it, but they didn't.
Yeah, props to the Navy for like, oh yeah, that's real.
Yeah, I mean, they could have said, nah, especially with CGI and special effects that you can run on Premiere or whatnot. I mean, you could make these things freaking look realistic, right? I mean, but they said it was real, so freaking.
I mean, if you have a much bigger problem if you say it's fake and then somebody who knows what they're doing analyzes
You
You know what the much bigger problem besides could this footage be fake? That there are possibly aliens out there with more advanced technology than us. Hey, what has every other conquering race that came to one place with more advanced technology done?
We're cattle.
We're screwed. So there.
I mean,
It'll be
we're all white
fine.
people, so.
It's either that or we go on a
in
wacky
this
adventure
matter,
and it'll be
it won't
great.
matter.
Yeah,
what
we're
way up.
basically those ants, that you keep in the jar and you watch them make colonies and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. We're
An ant
good.
farm.
Yeah, that's what you call them. Thank you, an ant farm.
You have to-
I knew
Alien ant
there's
farm?
words. Alien ant farm. That's a good
the,
band.
the whole alien thing has been such a topic for so long that, Bernie Sanders even came forward and was like, hey, I'm going to run for president, and if I get elected, I'll
On
tell
the
you if there's
Joe
aliens.
Rogan experience,
He's
yeah.
like,
I
I'm
saw
going to
that.
tell you everything. And I was like, great.
Yeah, but you know what? From the things I've heard, it's like, why would they ever tell somebody that's just a temporary employee You know, they're only there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Why would they ever give them that type of information? So,
Especially when you have a no. Walk away. I was asked not to do this.
So long as I get to punch an alien and say, "Welcome to Earth,"
welcome to Earth. Independence
Wrong
What
Day.
if they're
message.
friendly though?
I'm still gonna punch an alien and say, "Welcome to Earth."
That's racist.
They could be.
Punch a
They could be
white
like
dude.
There's
Alf.
stellar war.
I mean, they're
That's a
probably
Scrubs reference. If you didn't catch that.
they're probably gonna send Zim first. Isn't that who you
Thank
send
you.
first?
He's-
The one you didn't even like. So we're probably fine.
God, that movie,
Yeah,
that new
like,
movie
if,
was
if
hilarious.
it's Zim, we're fine.
Because he's gonna come down and and then the tallest are gonna be like,
Our luck is it's going to be Mars Attacks kind of situation with the ack.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my story.
All right,
Beautiful.
awesome. So we went through the news in record time. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, you're hidden behind all of these cameras and all of these like screens. I didn't even see you.
Still waiting for my juice.
Like, who is this?
Yeah, like who are you?
He's not sharing.
So anyway, my story is, look, I know we said a lot of things about DC films, but DC Animated, still pretty good. And they are adapting the popular Superman story, Red Sun. That is not the picture I wanted.
That was amazing.
That was
Whoa,
for a
you
stupid
can't put that on
KFC
screen.
picture from last week.
I swear I thought it was my
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's good.
Anyway,
The KFC video game?
Cass, just spread out your hair.
So yeah, Superman Red Sun is basically, let's
There you
say
go,
Kal-El
Red
went,
Sounds like a troll ball.
I just saw that posted. It was Colonel Sanders. You're still there.
We were trying to help.
That's nice. It lined up really well.
Sorry. Go on.
So yeah, it's a really great story being adapted. It's a only a 3-issue comic, so it should make a pretty good adaptation to the DC animated universe. So
What is Red Sun about?
huh?
What is Red Sun for?
I don't know. I was trying to say what it was about. It's basically the story is Superman went to Russia instead of the United States, and it's kind of horrible. There are also a lot of the characters like Batman and Wonder Woman are adapted if they were in that that region. So it's pretty good. It's got some really good political aspects to it. But if you haven't read the graphic novel, I recommend going to pick it up. But if you haven't, wait for the movie to come out and then go, I want to know more, and then you'll get more of a better. You'll get a better experience from the graphic novel than you would from the animated movie. So because it's bound to leave something. Anyway,
Probably.
Yeah.
Superman Red Sun probably going to be another feather in the cap for DC.
They kind of adapted part of that storyline in the new Supergirl season. I don't watch Supergirl, but
I tried. So
I couldn't
hard.
get into it. But I know that in the newest season they did do Red Sun, but with Supergirl in it. And I will say that DC's TV shows have really gotten their stuff together too. Just have you read the new information for the new
kinda with
crossover?
you. I'm kind of with you.
The Tom Welling.
I tried.
Not just Tom Welling, they're having Brandon Routh put on the Superman costume too as well. So
Yeah, that sounds like they're together.
It's like shows like The Boys have ruined me as far as like superhero
I
shows.
haven't watched
I
it. I
did
saw a clip
not
though.
care about the boys.
It's a very guy movie or show, I guess. It's very violent, over the top, crude, right up my alley. I love it.
Fucking new train.
Here's my problem. The boys, but since we did get through the news so fast, my problem with the boys is that it's so boring. It's like, oh look, they're superheroes, but they're bad now.
More human.
There's a lot of slow paced
No,
shows that I think
just
they're
is
not
probably what
bad.
it is.
Listen.
They're not. They're
Yeah.
from what I've seen. They were invariably bad. Like pretty much all of them. I understand that selfishness is real and corporate
Right.
interest and blah 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 blah
Right.
blah. But like for instance, if like the cat,
But that's
the
why-
cat guy
Right.
wasn't in on it, you have a whole way more interesting series.
But it's like that's what brings Carl Urban's character up to the front because these people are so horrible and bad that this horrible person is sort of trying to get rid of them, kind of thing. Oh, the ending was. Oh, I love the
If
ending.
I was super into that, I would be into politics.
Oh no, I'm not into
I'll
politics.
I'll
This
have to
one's
give
like
the boys a shot. Like right
less
now, I'm just
bad.
catching back up on The Walking Dead and
Okay.
stuff
That's
like
me
that.
too. I've been watching
So
a
like
lot
I
of
just made it
Walking
to
Dead.
season 8, and now I'm trying to catch back up. So
Yeah, I got real rough in season 8.
it died down a little bit, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get back into this, and then I started back up again, and the episode I picked just got real back into it real quick. I was like, all right, you've got me.
Can you do Negan's voice? You sound like you could do Negan's voice right
I can't do any voices.
there. He's like, it got real bad real quick. And I'm like, that.
I could probably do the inflection, but I'm not gonna try now. Not on the spot. Do it.
I got one. It's from Labyrinth. It's when he goes, "Sarah, friend," and that's about it. That's the only impersonation I got. Sorry.
I can do a few, but like, most of them aren't appropriate.
I love that movie too, girl. It's all
For
good.
this. We can do
Oh, The
some.
Dark Crystal was amazing. Did y'all see that?
I have not watched it
haven't
yet.
watched the new
Oh,
series.
it's
Was?
bad.
Oh, it's so good.
I grew up with that movie, so I like need to watch it at some point.
Yeah. No, this is one of my all-time favorites when I was a child. Sorry.
Okay,
I mean,
so.
What?
No. That's partly my fault because I said we would move on
Yes.
and do that. I would do the second part. So we're talking about horror sequels.
Oh man, I've got somewhere to go, somewhere to be.
Sit your butt down.
Yeah, we run this town now. So
you,
like,
you in this for the long haul, buddy.
first of all, I want to know what we think about the concept. Is it a good idea to do sequels to horror movies? Generally speaking,
I
That's a
think
tough
that
one.
would depend on the movie itself.
I would say no, only because the record that shows is not good as far as sequels in horror movies.
Well,
I think there's more bad than there is good, in my opinion.
Consider we have some good ones. Yeah. If they can nail it,
Right,
we wouldn't have
true.
got an Army of Darkness.
That's so true. That is
That
very
movie.
true.
It falls along the lines of just any other movie series. Like, just if it does well enough the first time, and then you have good writing the second time, then it'll generally do well. So,
And
there just has to be story to tell.
they also aren't the most expensive movies to make either.
No,
you know
they
what I'm saying? They get a lot of profit off of them if they do well. You know.
Yeah,
horror across the industry has the highest. Oh my goodness. ROI for across the industry,
Mm.
which means the return on the investment tends to be higher with horror than almost anything else. If you look at like cult movies that were made cheaply,
Yeah.
it's filled with horror movies
I
that
mean,
just went big.
Whether you like the movie Blair Witch Project, it was highly successful in the movie theater.
Right.
And then
So
they
is the-
returned the cameras.
Yeah. And how much did that thing cost? It was like
65K, 35K.
that is nothing to make a movie.
They ended up doing like 400 million.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
same thing with there's other horror movies that did the same thing, but I was going to bring it up, and then I realized you were going to talk about it, so we'll talk about it.
Saw movies did the same.
Can't watch those. Mm-mm.
Just
Not into torture porn.
Oh,
That's
there we go.
Thank you. Yeah.
They got torture
I like
porn-y.
spooky.
They
Yeah.
weren't at first. I liked the first couple because they had big twists at the end and they were surprising real times and whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that, it just went too far down that road for me
And see,
personally.
I really did like the first one, but it was one of those like I don't want to see the second one just because some of the torture scenes needles were a bit much for me, but also like the first one completely screwed me over with like the reverse bear trap thing. It's like I can't have another moment like that in my life ever again.
I
It
don't
does
need
it,
to
though.
see that.
It does do it again, though.
I can't do that.
It's one of the I can't do things like on horror movies. I hate, and this, like I'm a walking contradiction when it comes to horror movies.
Yeah.
But I hate jump scares and I hate over reliance of gore, and that's what most
Yeah.
horror movies are. It's just hack and slash. We're gonna cut something. How brutally can we kill somebody?
Right.
And then
Yeah, that's
I'm
I'm
gonna
out.
jump out at you, and my body's natural
But
reaction.
the
to hit
jump
something.
scare stuff, I actually enjoy that.
I don't mind it if it fits. It's just I don't like a heavy reliance on it.
Okay.
But I prefer more of a mood
Yeah.
type feel because then you can kind of understand what everyone else is
we
feeling.
need another category, like not just good, bad, but horror movies that started out good and then just went to crud at the end. Because there's a few of
There's
those.
a few list of those. Like
I can think of
jump
one
out
right
at
now.
you and my body's natural
I'm
reaction.
actually with you on that. Like, Cass hopefully doesn't mind if I call her out on that. And
What?
my brother and I all have kind of like delicate constitutions almost, where there's just a line like of how gross something can be on screen.
Yeah.
And the over reliance on it is rough. Like, if you need to show something, sure, but like, there's a lot of sensitive like stuff I don't love seeing.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I think I'll bring one of them up. I think like what was it? I think it was like the original Texas Chainsaw. Like that one uses a lot of gore too, and then it just got worse the more that you went into it. Like there are certain shots that are cinematic history type of shots that can do really well, but then you just dive too into how many kills can we get into this one movie just to prove a point. And that's like some people like those and then some people don't. It's like most of the horror movies I've seen, I basically watch from like a YouTube channel, because if they add comedy into it, then I'm all for it. So I'll give a shout out to Dead Meat. I find his videos hilarious. And that's how I've usually seen most of the horror movies I've ever seen. Like there are a few I've actually gone and seen. Just that's how I keep my knowledge up.
I love horror comedy as a genre. Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead. Like I'm on board for anything that like crosses over. What was that weird one, Cass, with the kids and the?
It was called Cooties.
Yeah, it was
It
really
had,
weird.
It had Dwight from
Circles.
The Office and Alison Pill and Elijah
Oh
Wood.
yeah.
It was real weird.
Did
but
they solve the situation with the circle, dot, dot?
Don't.
What about the one that was the
No,
Boy
they
Scouts
didn't.
survival?
It
Sorry.
took me. I know. I had to go
I
back
know what you're talking
20
about.
Way
years.
back, right? I just remember the kid, circle, dot, dot. Now you got your cootie
Oh,
shot.
yeah.
Circle, circle, square, square. Now I got it everywhere.
That's not how shots work.
It's
amazing what you will believe in as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cass, don't be so anti-vax.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
wow.
think there's a good point from the chat from friend of the show, Danae Cortez.
Good day.
Sequels are quintessential to horror because it builds character storylines.
True.
Unless
True.
you don't bring in the characters
Unless
from the
you
X
do it
ones.
badly, which
Looking
we'll
at
be getting to
you
that.
28 weeks later.
We,
Although, I mean,
we're going to get to them this.
but I'm not. We're
Save
not,
it.
we're not talking about that one. I can bring it up.
We're doing best first.
Do we want to do bad ones or good ones first?
Let's do best
Yeah.
first.
Let's do
Nah,
just.
and then end on the bad note?
Yeah.
I
The
don't
bad
know
ones
why I
are funnier.
asked. I don't
Okay,
care.
then.
We're doing bad ones first.
Okay, fine. Lead the show.
Bad. What's the
Oh.
worst horror sequel you've ever seen?
Oh man, there's so many. But like when I was thinking about it, I was like, when I was a kid and I saw Jaws 3 in 3D, I knew then that it wasn't a good movie. Yeah, it's like I even had the little, the red blue glasses, and then you got the heart. There's one scene where the harpoon comes at you, and then or the big Jaws is biting towards
You
the
could
screen.
put Jaws 2 in that category, too. Is that just-
2 wasn't that bad for me. No, it wasn't that. Like I love 1. 1's by far, the bar lifted. But 2, I don't have that hatred, or not hatred, but just like, oh my god, I can't believe I wasted my time on that.
I'm on his side with that one. It's just when 3D hit.
And it was like the beginnings of 3D time, so it doesn't hold up. You can't even watch it now. It's really bad, really bad.
That's fair. Yeah, nope, traumatized. Ricardo, from you. Do you have one?
He's not part of this.
He's in the audience.
Would you like to share my mic, sir?
Please.
Oh,
Sneak
Hi,
on over.
everyone. Let's see.
here, I'll scoot over a little bit. Come
Just a
on
little
over, big boy.
Worst horror film that I have ever seen. Sequel. I would have to say. Shoot, I had it earlier, but then it escaped me.
His brain shut down.
Yeah, brain shut down there a second ago.
Mm-mm.
I would have to say
Ernest goes to
probably no, not that one. Shoot, I was going through my list. Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Oh, that's a bad one.
That's a bad one.
Just because
See, I like
it's
that one.
it's
Really?
not. You
Probably for different
you
reasons.
just
Different
can't
reasons.
you just can't change like the entire thing and say, oh yeah, now this Halloween's not going to be about this. Like, no, Halloween was about Michael Myers, and then you just completely change it, and it's not just no.
See, and that's
Yeah,
why I
I
liked
agree.
it though, because with Halloween 3, the original story, when they were writing it, they were like, okay, we're only going to do 1 and 2 with Michael, and then we're going to do something new Halloween related. That was the goal of that series, was every new Halloween movie was
People
going to
didn't
be a
want none of
different
that,
thing.
though.
No, they didn't. Once Season of the Witch came, which was an interesting concept,
Whoa.
and it has a drastic... It had a drastic ending. They killed kids at the end of it. Like everybody.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
killing kids.
Yeah, I'm looking through my Webster dictionary. Not interesting is not another word for
You
suck.
shut your mouth.
I don't know if you can spell interesting. You want to write that up? Just to make sure you're looking at the right word.
I don't read you. My phone spell checks.
But that's why I thought it
have no
was.
words.
I thought it was different because of the fact that they were willing to pull those kinds of twists and stuff like that.
I can see
You're
what
right. It's not the same in
Right.
comparison to the other ones. But that's like me saying that Scrubs season 9 is the same as all of the other
But
Scrubs.
I think
Just
But I think what really killed it though was they went right back to Michael Myers, like in the fourth one, and
Yeah.
fifth. And
They learned.
it was
So-
fan demand.
Yeah, it's like,
so
hey.
it's like, oops, we kind of.
It was the right move. It was just I liked the idea behind 3.
It's
Yeah.
okay, because Friday the 13th did a similar thing once.
Yeah, they did.
Really, a lot of those like epic.
Yeah,
They
because
have
there was
kind
one.
of been like, do you guys
It
like
was a-
this?
It was a
No?
dude
His name
pretending to
was Roy.
be Jason. Yeah.
It was
Oh,
Roy.
you remember? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
vague
don't remember
memories.
which one it was, but the only
Like
reason I know is
5 or
because
something.
I'm on Instagram, and with Instagram I follow NECA, and NECA's like, look at the one we just put out. So that's how I remember the character's name.
Gotcha.
I just saw it this morning.
I was like, you're an
Well-
idiot savant. Look at you go.
No,
Get
I
all
saw
of
it this
them
morning
right.
on Instagram. But yeah, it was a guy pretending, and it wasn't him, and that was the big plot twist, and that was stupid too.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't think of a bad sequel
Oh,
where the original wasn't bad as
Do you want
well.
one?
I was having an issue.
I
Yeah,
got more.
yeah.
Yeah, Troll 2.
I
That was a
didn't see
really
those.
bad one.
Blair Witch Book of Shadows.
Mm. Mm.
I didn't see Blair Witch because the found
Anything.
footage. It's so hard for me to watch. Like it just. Ugh. I can watch my own garbage footage.
Ooh.
Thank you. I have plenty of it.
Friday the 13th, Jason destroys Manhattan or whatever it was
Yeah,
called.
that one's pretty bad.
That was
Yeah.
bad.
They just get comical after a while. Which
We will not badmouth Friday the 13th movies.
Too late.
God.
13th movie
I
suck.
don't know what you think that chair means, but we will do whatever we decide to do as a show, which includes you. But you don't get to make creeds, demands from that chair.
Those are great movies.
It's only when Cora does it.
Man, the reboot is something
That's
else.
I can't think of one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. Was the what was it? The Connecticut
Christine.
Haunting in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my least favorite, most hilarious movies
Because
ever.
nothing interesting
It
happens. in
was
Connecticut.
based on a riddle that I learned as a kid that was like one dark day in the middle of the night, 2 young boys got up to fight. They based the whole movie off of this, and it was
And
a
see-
nonsense poem.
Seems like there
So
was
I have
stretching.
a fun.
It was
I have
awful.
a
So
I guess
funny, though.
interesting story about a haunting in Connecticut. So a couple years before the movie came out, I think it was Discovery Channel had a show on it called A Haunting. And A Haunting, the whole purpose of it was dramatizations of hauntings that had supposedly taken place.
Mhm.
Like like you know how they'll do like documentary shows and they'll have the actual people there telling you what happened.
Mhm.
That's what they did with this show, and so it was really interesting. And one of them, and they had 2 of them that were like 2-hour specials, and one of them was a haunting in Georgia and one was a haunting in Connecticut. And the haunting in Connecticut was terrifying. Like you had this, and like as I watched it, it's like, this is horrifying. And then I saw the trailer for the movie. I was like, oh my god, this is that story, because it was very similar to what happened to these people. And then I found out, like I saw like a clip from it later. I was like, but that didn't happen. Okay, we're done now.
You took the real thing and you made it dumb.
Looking
Why
at
would
you,
you do that?
Amityville Horror as
I was
well.
just thinking about
But
that.
also, there's a
That
lot
was a
of
creepy movie back in the day. Amityville.
well,
There's a lot of
the story
controversy
behind
behind
it.
it, too.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
But
a-
like when I was a kid and I saw that freaked me out really bad.
Oh yeah, it was just
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those. It was one of those movies.
There's a
like,
few back in the days that really stuck with me. You know?
This isn't a sequel, but the same thing. We watched. What's the one? Keep having to do this. The Gunmaker one. What was that one?
The gun. Oh,
Winchester.
The Winchester
Yeah.
house.
Winchester. We watched
Oh, I see what
Winchester,
you're
and I
talking
had such high like hopes for it because it's a real place and it's crazy. I actually have a t-shirt my dad bought me as a souvenir from going there and like all this stuff. So they had nothing but like beautiful shots in the previews and they had all that opportunity to do something similar with the movie and they just didn't. They're like, what if we took a story where like this person went crazy and built all these, I mean, crazy is derogatory, but like crazy and built tunnels to doors that don't go anywhere and built hallways that cut themselves off. And instead we just focused on the simplicity of a ghost story about how she feels guilty. Wouldn't that be great?
No. I'm just going to come out and say that. No.
I bet there's a good movie on the cutting room floor of that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, another bad one. I can't remember the name of it, but it had Paris Hilton was in it. It wasn't like
House of Wax.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Dang,
It's
man.
instant,
Wow.
man.
Is it just because of Paris
Jason.
Hilton or what's going on here? What?
Jason's
That one
got
came
one.
out quick.
Chad Michael Murray.
Jason, what do you got? I met him once.
Hold, please.
Hold on. It's
Where is it? That's
You
him.
got it. You got it.
there we go.
Hello.
You did it.
I did a thing.
I don't have one. Every single Paranormal Activity after one. All of them. All of them are garbage.
Are they still going?
Not
I think
anymore, but I think they
five.
got 5 sequels out of that.
They got 5
The
out of
first
it.
one, low budget, done well. Suspenseful.
I watched that one on a portable DVD player in my room with all of the lights on.
Bad choice.
It was
Still bad choice.
It was still
bad choice.
yeah. It was quite terrible. It's okay. I only followed it up with Dragon Ball Evolution and cried even worse. So,
That's amazing.
I don't know which was the worst experience for me personally, but
Oh, and I almost tried to kill a guy, and I saw the first one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it turned into a horror movie for him. Some guy, right at the beginning of the movie, in the little hallway area, yells out what happens at the end of the movie.
Aw.
And I was in the front row, so I was able to get up and completely run. And he's, 1 minute he come around the corner, and he's like, and then he sees me and goes, fuck!
we already had the
So
one.
he slams into the door, almost, he falls and just like eats carpet, and then the cops come over, and I'm like, this one, I forgot they were here. But yeah, totally ruined the movie for us. Like just screamed out the ending, and I was like,
What was the ending?
so it turned into a horror movie for
Language.
him. Just it was Jason running and not walking after him.
The house.
That's generally
the
a horror
house
movie for me too.
implodes
Okay.
and disappears at the end.
It was just
Oh,
some
wait,
teenage
no,
kid,
that
but
was,
man, watching them
Poltergeist.
eat it going out the door, that made it.
Oh, spoilers for Poltergeist. I haven't seen it yet. I just, real quick, I do have one. A friend and I we used to have a bad movie night every couple of weeks, and we watched the 2011 Green Lantern and Final
I love that
Destination
movie,
5
okay?
in the same night.
Those
It's a
are
horror
horror
movie for all
movies.
kinds of
Yeah.
different reasons.
Wow.
That is a
It is
horror
one of my
It was
favorite
real
bad
bad.
movies.
It
Okay.
was
Which
real
one?
bad.
Okay,
Boy,
it comes in
right.
second in comparison to The Room. Okay.
No, Green Lantern or Fantasy.
Green Lantern.
Okay.
I wanted them to name the paranormal like sequels like Fast and the Furious movies. Like be like Paranormaler Activity and be like
Ghost
Too para,
drifting.
too normal.
yeah.
Couldn't think of a
More
good one. I was going to roll with
activity.
that.
More
But
para.
for what, the first one nailed it, okay?
Amityville
The first
Drift.
one was good.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
first
go
one
back
was
to
good.
First one, it's the
I
vibe
didn't
doesn't
make
kick
it
in.
through the first one. I thought it was
There you
terrible.
go.
I thought
There
it
you
was
go.
boring.
That's better.
Really?
I like
You know, like I
There's
said,
a
I
lot
don't.
of footage of people sleeping.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically the movie. I don't have a lot of like horror movie sequels that I've seen because, like I said, I don't go and see a lot of horror movies. But I can tell you a bad one I've seen, which was The Langoliers. That was a whole lot of
What?
interesting. Have you not seen that?
Langoliers,
The
I've heard
book
of
was
that.
better.
Yeah, the Langoliers. It was a TV movie, wasn't it?
Was that
Yeah,
Stephen
the
King?
book was
It's Stephen King.
Okay.
They,
Okay.
looked,
okay.
they were being chased by space dimension eating meatballs with teeth.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great day.
Sounds like Stephen King.
Okay, the book wasn't that much better. Now that he says it out loud, I'm thinking, yeah.
There's two different illustrations. If you type in the Langoliers, you get a completely different picture than the really crappy CGI meatball teeth things.
It was made for TV.
I think so.
Balky
that
was
means-
the bad guy.
I'm
Balky
Balky
picturing,
from Perfect Strangers? Oh, man.
I'm
Bronson
picturing Meatwad with the Perfect Strangers dude's voice like on a tear. That's all I've got in my head right now. Like, I'm gonna get you.
I love that.
That's good.
Like I make fun of the
It's a good
Langoliers, but I think
impersonation
I've
right
watched
there.
it like 4 times. It's
Like
just
you
one of those
little
bad
ones here and
movies that it would pop on. Like, oh wait, here you go.
Do
Here's
you
a
only
Langolier.
like Terrible movie.
Oh wow.
I mean, terrible movies
That
can
does
be a
look like
lot
me
of
one.
fun.
Yeah.
So, here's your villain.
I've never been less scared in my entire life.
Oh, I just thought of another one, but Cora, I think it's your
We
turn.
better start getting
Yeah.
some good ones soon.
Just
Yeah.
real quick, I don't have a horror movie sequel because somehow I have skipped seeing sequels of horror movies, even if I enjoyed them. So I'm gonna go with video games instead, which is still very short because I don't play a lot of horror games because I don't like being scared while I'm playing. My anxiety is just too high.
It's
But-
so hard.
I relate so hard.
But I'm gonna go into like a horror action genre with Devil May Cry 2. Devil May
that was
Cry
good,
3
yeah.
was good, but Devil May Cry 2 doesn't exist. It's awful. It just doesn't exist. Just no. Story was weird. Mechanics were weird. It was just a really weird, bad thing that didn't need to happen at all, and yet it did. Okay, Capcom.
I real quick, I remember we did a thing at Draft House one year where they call it Dismember the Alamo, and they show it's like 5 movies, all horror films, back to back to back to back to back. They're usually random, just weird, cheesy 81s, sometimes 91s. One year, the theme was sequels. One of the movies they showed was House 2, The Second Story.
Oh, I remember
Oh,
that. I
my
remember
God.
that. I saw that as a
And
kid.
the synopsis is the new owner of a sinister house gets involved with reanimated corpses and demons searching for an ancient Aztec skull with magic powers.
So Tuesdays.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
Got it.
But yes, it is called House 2, The Second Story.
I hate
And
it.
I remember seeing a little bit of it. I'm like, why am I watching this? So that and Birdemic 2. Even though-
Birdemic is a gem, don't you dare. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, let's move on to some good ones to
Yeah.
palate cleanse all of this.
I got whiskey for that.
Which
Also-
is gonna
Oh,
share.
It doesn't
don't.
share.
Apple juice.
Juice.
Okay, who wants to go first? Who's got good sequels?
Oh.
I think I'll.
Depends on
oh,
what
wait,
you
wait,
mean good.
I know.
You raise your hand, but I'll go because I don't talk about horror movies often. But I recently went and saw It Chapter 2.
Ooh.
Yes.
And
And?
I loved the first It movie.
It was good.
Like my sister made me go and see it, and I was like, I don't want to see this, and
My
I loved
friend
it.
got me to see it too.
I have watched it a lot since then. It's one of my favorite movies, surprisingly.
Right.
And then
gorgeous.
I went and saw It
Yeah.
Chapter 2 recently, and I loved it. It was
Okay.
it was a phenomenal movie. It had a weird pacing, but it wasn't a bad pacing. It felt like the pacing when I went and watched Avengers Endgame
Okay.
because of the way that they laid out the story of It
Right.
Chapter 2. And I was like, this is really good. It has a solid ending. I can get behind this. I made my wife watch it when I got home, the first movie. And then she was like, okay, that was really good. Let's go see the second one. And I was like, I just saw it. She was like, buy us a ticket. We're going tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And I bought us a ticket. And then my wife slept in the living room with all of the lights on for 3 days straight. And
That movie was straight up stressful. Like, I have anxiety just in general
How was Bill
for
Hader?
things. And
phenomenal. Probably one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things. about
I
that.
almost popped the Xanax for the anxiety of the movie.
I don't blame you at
Not
all.
like
with that.
I get anxious in theaters sometimes. It's never anything to do with the plot of the movie. And for a minute, I was like, "This is a lot."
I
Like,
just kind of want to hug you right now. Just
it was
it's
a
okay.
lot.
Like, I don't want to
there's-
go too much into It Chapter 2 since it's still in theaters, but
Yeah,
there were
I've
some
seen it.
moments where even
Chapter.
though I knew that there were scares coming because it kind of telegraphed some of them,
Right.
it still didn't prepare me for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man,
I mean, the
Muschietti
trailer-
is good.
Directing the Flash, I'm ready.
The trailer alone made me unsettled, so I'm not seeing
They
it,
cast
but-
it flawlessly.
Like
They
the
did
little
an
old lady
amazing
that's in the
job.
kitchen.
Yeah, yeah,
Old
no, I
ladies.
didn't need that.
She's
Yeah.
That
perfect.
so much worse.
Yeah, I'm
In
hoping
the-
so.
see,
I'm hoping
and
so.
see, don't need it.
It's
Don't
okay.
need it.
We'll hold your hand and we'll give you popcorn. and stuff.
I'm not going to see it.
The little old lady was not that scary. She
Yeah,
And
she,
yet
she had a
comparatively-
moment, but to be fair, I wasn't prepared for that moment.
comparatively, like, to other things in that section, with them running around and doing their own thing, and that's all I'll say. So it's not
But you
spoilery.
see,
There was one
if she
way
makes me
more.
uncomfortable from the trailer,
No. Like, I stand by you. Don't do what you don't want to do. It was amazing, but it was stressful. Cass, what do you got?
I have one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite
Series.
franchises. Yeah. And wait,
Ah!
okay. It's one of my favorite franchises. This is my first day.
Yeah.
It's one of my first favorite franchises in general, but one of my favorite horror sequels is The Conjuring 2. It's set in England instead of America, and basically it's the same kind of story. It's the Warrens going and dealing with a ghost, and a scary ghost, and it's a scary demon, and it's scary stuff. And
it delivers.
Yeah, it does exactly. A sequel is supposed to make you feel like the first one did with a different story. And that is 100% what The Conjuring 2 does. And so I think it is one of the perfect sequels. And it's a good horror movie. It's real scary. I think that was the one where we were watching it in the living room at my house, and you hid behind the counter.
Yes, I did.
To scare me.
With the cricket man.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
No.
I hate the Conjuring series though because it introduced me to Annabelle. Okay, and
she real creepy. Yeah.
I've actually met the prop for that movie, not the actual Annabelle doll.
I was about to say, really?
That's a difference. The prop isn't that bad. It's the real one that I hated.
Yeah,
I won't talk about that now. I'll tell you later. Still,
that reminds me a lot like oh man, the Poltergeist with the clown that was on the chair. That freaked me out when I was a kid, and it took me a while to get used to clowns again from that.
Dude, growing up, my best friend in the world had a clown marionette antique doll hanging in her room that was like, oh, it's a hand-me-down. I wouldn't sleep at her house. Like, nope.
The eyes just follow you everywhere.
we
It's a marionette, and it was a clown, and it was a puppet. Like, that's
Oh, so
too
trifecta
many
of
things.
evil.
So, like, pass.
growing up, my sister and I had two different types of rooms. Like clearly, I had like the nerdy stuff go everywhere, figures and all that everywhere.
Sure.
Then my sister had porcelain dolls, and the way that our house was set up, we had the world's
Yeah, your mom.
we had the world's longest hallway.
Mm-hmm.
But we also lived out in the countryside, so there's no lights coming in from our windows, and there's no lights in the hallway. So when you're walking down, she's in the middle. So to get to my room or to the bathroom, I'd have to walk by all the porcelain dolls. It was the worst.
And they had the China doll stories. Like,
So I actually have a haunted doll story. When I was growing up, we went up to North Carolina every year to visit my great aunt. And one, I loved it because it's in the mountains and secluded, which also gives it the perfect setting for this.
mm-hmm.
But okay
So,
with this.
there-
Wanna go home.
There was a room, and this was the room we always slept in. It had two beds because it used to be my Aunt Dale and my Aunt Gail's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And both sides had like giant stuffed bears, like one each. And then they had dolls all along the headboard.
Mm-hmm.
One night, I woke up just, you know how you just wake up and you're awake?
Mm-hmm.
And I turned over, and every single doll in the room, not the bears, but the dolls, were sitting there still in their regular position like this, but their heads were...
Nope.
And as I looked at them, they just went back. And I was terrified, but then I thought I was asleep. I talked to my sister the next morning. She saw the same thing.
That's creepy.
And then we talked to our great aunt about it.
Yeah,
And-
they do that sometimes.
No, she was like, "Oh yeah, that's why I don't let you guys in the other room because there was a room off the laundry room." She's like, "There's something in there." I'm like,
Now you
can't-
bring this up,
"We can't stay here."
Couldn't you tell me that a week ago?
right?
You couldn't tell me this like 2 years ago when this whole tradition started.
It should be like a letter that they give you when you walk into the house. Like, here you go.
It's a
My-
personal waiver you have to
Yeah.
sign.
My dad doesn't believe in paranormal stuff. He actually thinks that I'm a little crazy for it. So even if he knew it, he wouldn't believe it. But
Any other good horror sequels?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like we haven't gone through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably do that.
I'll jump it. It's Evil Dead 2, the sequel, sort of a
Soft
sequel.
reboot.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it went from being a legit horror movie, to sort of a comedy. But that's one of the reasons I loved it. Because when I was a kid in high school, we had this librarian that didn't pay any attention to us. And we could watch whatever movies we kind of got past. Oh, yeah, that's rated G. Don't worry about it. Pop it in, watch it. That was the first time I saw it. And after that, I was like, I love Sam Raimi. I love Bruce Campbell. These are, it's like, and when Army of Darkness came out, I was super stoked for that. But yeah, Evil Dead and the Evil Dead series. I even loved the show Ash versus Evil Dead, right? Yeah. I'm kind of sad that it got taken off, but whatever. Things happen.
It's
Yeah.
got 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Or 3.
Or 3. Yeah.
fun to watch Sam Raimi find his footing. Like,
Exactly,
and
right? Because you
different
can see
kind of
how it
medium.
all sort of came together, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I really dig that.
I like the show a lot. So let me tell you guys a story about the Purge movies. Okay, so they started running the trailers for the third one, whatever it was called.
Election year.
Yeah, election year, about like, oh,
You just have it all down.
and we were watching the previews for it. Cass and I, like, they'd pop up all the time, and I was like, see, this is what I don't get with this whole thing. Like, where's the suspension of disbelief that they could just run around and kill everybody one night? Like, there's no way you have the time to address that in a horror movie. And how do you move from, like, oh, I'm gonna steal stuff, to death? Like, you don't have time to address that. And whatever.
So stupid.
This
Movies
is
are
so
gonna be terrible.
stupid. They've got to be bad movies. Why do they keep making them? First one made like $120 million off a $3 million budget. Like, how does this work? And so we set a timer for 45 minutes, and we turned on the first one, and we're like, if they haven't explained it and we're not into it in 45 minutes, then we know, and we just shut it off and go away. So we watched all the first one that night. And we're like, we still don't have an answer. This is stupid. The second one's out on video, right? Like, and we watched all the second one that night. And then we went with Ricardo to watch Election Year.
Like 3 days
Before
later.
it came out.
And I
Like,
did that with
they
John Wick.
do not answer the question, like, really.
They
It was
kind of did in
just
the
enough to keep you going.
sequel prequel, which was First
Not
Purge.
really.
a little.
They
I need to rewatch them.
It doesn't need to. It's making money.
James DeMonaco is so brilliant at taking like an idea and narrowing it down to the people it's currently affecting in his world that I don't care.
It's
I
just
don't
good world
care.
building.
He's so good at it. It's one of my favorites.
I got a couple of sequels. I actually saw Sinister 2 before I saw Sinister, but I could not get through Sinister, so I enjoyed Sinister 2 much better. And then along the lines with Cass, I actually like Annabelle Creation better than I liked Annabelle. Just because I think the Creation one was a little bit more in-depth, and it was just... The creation of anything evil is always kind of scary how things start out.
Like
so.
origin stories.
Origin story, yeah. Just because you know the evil behind it, so, or you think you know the evil behind it, so that was just a whole Conjuring universe, you know, with like Conjuring 1, 2, and potentially the third one they're working on right now, and the Curse of La Llorona and the Nun and Annabelle was the one that just came out. Annabelle Comes Home, which just came out on DVD as well, so check that out.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, they were you know they're it's an enjoyable horror
Was
franchise.
that David F. Sandberg too?
Annabelle Comes Home was not.
Right.
Annabelle Creation was.
David F. Sandberg can tell stories.
It's dope. He also directed Shazam.
He did direct Shazam. He directed Lights Out, and he has a whole bunch of channel movies on YouTube to teach you how to make horror movies.
Oh, and
Nice.
there's one that I don't want a sequel to, but I want a TV show to. I want a TV show of Cabin in the Woods.
That would be awesome.
I want them to show us all the other monster creatures, things that go
I
bump in
love
the
that
night.
movie. It's a
So
great
we know
movie.
how the movie. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, watch it. It's phenomenal.
Really good.
But
Surprisingly.
it doesn't need a sequel, but it definitely needs prequels. And the best way to do that is with the TV show,
It's perfect.
Monster of the Week.
Just leave it
If
as is.
only
I
he
like that.
knew how to write TV.
I know, right?
Wait a minute.
Mm.
So
I got two honorable mentions just real quick. I
Yeah.
don't mean to take up much time, but
No,
if you've never seen them, go check them out because they're kind of old school. But Prince of Darkness and also The Mouth of Madness. Those are two, in my opinion, some of the better from, I guess, what's at the late 80s or early 90s of horror movies.
I've never seen that
Ah.
madness.
What's the guy from Jurassic Park?
Sam
Which
Neill.
one?
Yeah, that's it. That guy. Sorry, I know.
I'm not
He's
playing
my-
movie
he-
trivia with
He's
you.
my
I know.
Google. I'm just going to use him for movie Google. It's like,
Sam Neill, Jeff,
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern.
Michael Crichton, like
Yeah,
Richard
no, but
Attenborough.
the first guy. But check those out.
Steven Spielberg. We did yours.
I actually, since I again don't tend to apparently watch
You
sequels
have
for
the-
movies, I do have one that I'm anticipating because it comes out next year, and that's the sequel to Train to Busan.
Oh yeah.
Train to Busan is
A
my
dope movie.
it is my absolute favorite horror movie. Like and I can't really explain why. It's mostly the journey while watching the movie affected me way more than any other horror movie I've seen, like emotionally, physically, just all of the emotions, all of the twists and turns, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the second one, how they're going to keep that up because of how the movie ends. I'm not spoiling anything.
They're making a sequel.
Yes, they announced it earlier last year that they'll be making a sequel to it.
That's amazing.
Like it seems
I
that
knew they
it
were
may-
I knew they were remaking that director was remaking it for an American audience. I did not know they were making a sequel. That's amazing.
Yes, there is also a prequel that isn't like an animated prequel to how the outbreak started.
Oh,
I cannot remember the title of it, but it go check that out because it's amazing.
Man, they just threw bodies at that.
yep.
They
On
just
screen, they just threw bodies. Like
they
it's
just
insane.
grabbed all the contortionists they could and just said, "Have
and
fun."
They found a lot. It's
And-
interesting to see other cultures take on zombies.
Yes.
Near, you okay?
It's been a horrible experience.
It's been awful. That's about all we have.
No, we
Jason,
got-
did we get to yours?
No, you didn't.
What is it? What do you got?
You have
Okay,
18
so
seconds.
a long time ago, Jason saw a movie called
Man.
Alien,
Ooh.
and it terrified me.
Yeah.
And then Aliens came out.
Yeah.
It's like you're scared of one thing, and then you find out there are literally thousands of them.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing. It was like, ooh, I bet you they're going to fight another one of those aliens. And then, like, the one scene that they sometimes cut out on, like, the TV broadcast,
Yeah.
the double machine guns mowing down all the aliens. I don't like things that swarm in mass.
And that's something that.
And look, you shoot all of them, and they bleed acid blood.
Yeah.
And also have this other set of jaws. The xenomorph is probably the most terrifying thing in all of horror movies. I know people, they're like, oh, that's not a horror movie. That absolutely is a horror
Oh,
movie.
absolutely.
All the lists that I saw.
They're like, that's a
they had
science
on
fiction
there.
movie. Screw you.
It scared
That's
you,
a
though.
horror
It's a
movie.
sci-fi horror.
Because
gonna
the
die,
xenomorph
man.
is like perfect for murdering everything.
Yeah.
And then also, let's the face rape.
So
Oh,
you
The face huggers?
Yeah.
No. I was not about those.
Very claustrophobic.
That was from the first movie. It's like, okay.
You're right, like-
And then I was like, oh, so it's laying an egg in your throat. Oh! Which is going to hatch out of you. It's just a horrible experience all the way.
So I got a question for you. Since you hate the xenomorphs, you hate Jokers. So when I get my 2-pack in, you want me to just put my Joker xenomorph just right on the table for you?
Sure, I need target practice.
You do. You should get better at
It's
that.
just, the alien.
Put your what
was-
on the table?
Ordered a 2-pack from the New York Comic Con from NECA, and it forced me to get 2 versions. So I ordered it for Green Lantern, which is also going to come with a Predator Yellow Lantern mix.
Ooh.
But then I'm also getting Batman, which comes with a Xenomorph and the Joker mix. So
Interesting.
So,
Right for us.
yeah.
You guys are
That is-
weirdos.
That is my horrifying. I mean, think about it. They have the jaw. They have 2 sets of jaws to kill you, acid blood, claws, a tail with a spike on it, and then let's make thousands of them.
Think of
And
it
a
like a
giant
D&D
queen.
monster.
It's just
How are you going to
misunderstood.
protect?
And they don't have any eyes. Damn you, H.R. Geiger. Damn you. And then I found those books later, like, oh, this is amazing in a horrifying way.
I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing the second one. I've
That-
never seen it.
Oh, we need to get together then.
Whoa.
Because, I'm a kid. These are badass Marines. They're going to take those things. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. They're dying left and right, man.
I wanted to.
So the moral of tonight's show is don't let your kids watch Aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not.
No,
I should
I
not have
loved
watched
it.
that movie.
I loved it
That's
as a
what I
kid.
Imagine if they actually break into Area 51 and that's what actually comes out of there.
Oh, no.
Jason's
And my
gonna go
arguments
mad
against
about
gun
it.
control go out the window. Buy all the guns. All of the guns.
We told you not to break in here. This is why.
I'm really hoping
All
it's Roger from
Okay.
American Dad.
All right. Thank
Love
you
that.
guys for
And
joining. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We really enjoyed this conversation, and hopefully you also enjoyed it. If you would like to check us out, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notified when we post new videos. We do post more than just the live show every week. We do have a toy podcast called Alternate Heads. We have an anime show that's just starting out called Anime TV. We also have the host for one of our other new shows, Super Cool Nerd Nation, over here, Ricardo here, interviewing all kinds of cool people in the area.
Yep.
So if you are in the DFW area or can get to the DFW area very quickly, be sure to contact us through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at SCNS Live if you would like to schedule an interview, or you can message Ricardo directly at...
You can find me on Instagram at AlmoNerd89. I'm sorry, there's not a
Nope,
lower
you changed
third
it.
for me. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
There's
I'm
not a
sorry.
lower
It's
third
my
for
other one.
anybody. Jason forgot to make it.
I was teaching.
Oh,
That's all right.
So real quick, sorry. My new Instagram handle is NerdyRick89. You can find me on there on Instagram. You can shoot me a message on there if you would like to be part of Super Cool Nerd Nation. You don't have to be a cosplayer. You can be any kind of nerd. Just send me a DM. We'll sit down. We'll talk and get people let people get to know you better. So yeah.
Aw. I'll talk to you.
Yeah,
Alright.
perfect.
There you go.
All right, and I would also like to thank Aaron.
Hey, no, seriously,
I
thank
did
you
say your name
guys
right, right?
so
Hey,
so
so
much.
bad with names.
Came back
Yeah.
to see us.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks so
Karina.
much for having me over. I just started up a new podcast called Does Not Include Dune, which is, the title kind of says everything right there. But
I'm
me and
intrigued.
me and a good friend, we basically sit around, have a couple beers, and talk about like sci-fi and fantasy spaceships and vehicles, and break them down and rate them what we think is the coolest. Every Friday we drop it. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, iTunes. I think that pretty much covers everything. If you want to get in contact with us, you can always email us at doesnotincludedoom@gmail.com. And that's about it.
I like that. You can find me on Twitter at Doe Drawings, usually drawing terrible cartoons of things that Overwatch League casters say, or occasionally on Instagram at BetterCat.
You can find me on Instagram at the Near Plasma. I'm also on Alternate Heads and Anime TV, so I'm everywhere.
All right, you can find me on Instagram at Korodono, KORODONO, where I post artwork and cosplay related things. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Hawk's Perch, where I scream into the void about Suikoden until it screams back. It
will one day.
It will one day. Also, real quick, the prequel to Train to Busan is Seoul Station, like the city of Seoul.
But also, like, Soul, am I right?
Like
That's-
Soul.
Oh my
they're,
God.
No, don't spell
they're
that
dead.
way. You
Don't
won't
spell
find
that
it.
way.
No.
You can find me, where can you find me? Twitter, probably.
Probably.
Instagram, Twitter, Cass_Bradley. Also Doa Drawings, occasionally drawing the real bad drawings.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JasonTheX, Political for Twitter, and Toys on Instagram. Oh, also, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and Google Play, also on Podbean.
Podbean is for other podcasts. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what
So,
Podbean is.
Again, thank you guys so much for watching us this week. We will see you all next week with a fun new topic and fun new adventures.
Yay.
But remember to always...
Keep
Keep
on
on
nerding.
nerding.
what do I
It's
do?
gonna be
What?
okay.
You want to hit outro?
Outro? Okay.
You're gonna be
Bye.
okay.
It's such a long drive home. It's so dark outside. I need someone to hold my hand.